it's Alexandra, and today I'm going to be talking about me and my family's paranormal experiences. This was all a couple years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, so it's not fresh and it all stopped. If you're really skeptical, I'm just gonna be like,
this bitch is lying. This is a lying bitch.
and just leave, because like I'm not lying. Like this is all true as hell. So I'm just gonna like go right into it. Okay, so it started at my cousin's house. My cousin's name is Lauren, my sister's name is Phoebe, and my cousin's boyfriend name is Brandon. And those are all pretty like important people in the story. So Lauren, Phoebe, and Brandon and a couple of their friends were all at my cousin's house. And they all decided to play with a Ouija board. And I don't know if this was their first time, probably not, but this is the first time that anything really like got real. So they were doing it, whatever, like it was saying shit, but like it wasn't like. And then my cousin's dog, Diva, came in from like sleeping in the kitchen to the living room. She just started barking at this one spot in the room, barking so loud like someone was there and like a fucking intruder, and she wouldn't stop barking. And then they were all like, what the fuck, Diva? So then they asked the Ouija board to shut Diva up, and then right as they asked that, Diva shut up, turned around, and went back in the kitchen. So that was super weird, and they're like, what the fuck? I think the spirit's name was like George, like an old guy name or something. I think it kind of like showed like attraction or like wanting to talk to my sister Phoebe more than anyone else. And she kind of thought it was weird, but it was just like, whatever, like it's not a big deal. So then they said goodbye and whatever. Stuff in their house started to get like super weird. Like their microwave would just like only work on 3, 6, and 9. Okay. And that was the only setting or number it ever worked on for a while. And then sometimes their blender would just go off. That's really weird because like it's a blender. And then they had this clock that like made a noise, like dinged or whatever, whenever it hit the hour. And they turned that off because it was fucking annoying. And then sometimes it would just randomly go off. I think it would go off at midnight, but that wasn't supposed to happen, and it would just go off randomly, and they'd kind of be like freaked out. And then they kind of like thought that the ghost or whatever was doing this had like a crush on my uncle, because randomly his clothes, one pair of his shoe, like just one shoe, would go missing. Shut up, bitch. All their shoes would just be in a closet at the front of their house, like at their door. And then just for it to randomly go missing just doesn't really make any sense. And yeah, like, oh, the electrical was off in the house if all that shit was happening. But like, no, because the clock was a battery clock, and that's just weird. A blender just doesn't go off. Like, you had to press a button, and blenders just don't automatically press. And then maybe the microwave was just a big coincidence, but it's just weird because it was 3, 6, and 9, and that's just straight down. So I don't know. But then like stuff kind of got to the point where it was weird and didn't seem very harmless anymore. This one room in that house, it was downstairs, and they kind of like thought it was like the most haunted part in their house. One night, Phoebe, Lauren, and Brandon were all there, and then my stepsister was there too, and my stepsister and Phoebe were sleeping in that spare bedroom, the one that was like, they called it the ghost room. And because weird shit would just go on in there, I never really got any details, but it was just like supposed to be weird as fuck in there. So then Phoebe stripped the bed, she put new blankets on it, and she tucked the blanket back a little bit, so it was just pretty, like it was a pretty bed, like it was made really nice, everything was flat and just beautifully made. They all left the room. I think they just made the bed, they went and like put the sheets in the laundry, whatever they did, and then no one went in that room. It was just like no one fucking went in there. And no one in that house like wanted to fuck with each other because weird stuff was going on, so like why add to the problem? Like they were all just like I don't know, left it alone kind of thing. So my sister and my stepsister went back into that ghost room, and there was just a tap shoe laying on the bed. A tap shoe one. And like my cousin danced, so this would be why they had a tap shoe. But the tap shoe was like in the corner of the room, like all her dance stuff was in the corner of the room or in the closet. Like there's no way that the tap shoe could just like fall and get on the bed. And it wasn't like it like maybe fell off like the headboard. It wasn't on the headboard for one, but like it was on like the end of the bed kind of thing. So just the fact like no one knows how it got on there. Brandon and Lauren weren't fucking with them. They slept in there that night, dumb, but yeah. I do have a paranormal experience. I have two at the end though. This next story is super weird. Phoebe, Lauren, and Brandon were hanging out one night and it was getting nighttime, so Phoebe and Lauren slept in Lauren's bedroom, which is downstairs as well, and then Brandon slept in the ghost room. And they were all going to sleep and stuff, and then Brandon's like laying in his bed, in the bed or whatever, and then I think like the door maybe cracks open a bit, and he's like, what the fuck, shut up, and he's totally like not scared of anything, like he's just not that guy, he was just like, fuck you. And then all of a sudden like he saw, this is so fucked up, this is when you'd be like, shut up, shut the fuck up, but they wouldn't lie to me, this is real, this is what happened. But he saw toes, like feet, but just like the toes, like someone stuck their feet under the door and just their toes were exposed, and they had green nail polish on. And he was like, what the fuck, guys, like stop, like what are you doing? And like he yelled at her or whatever, and then Phoebe and Lauren were like, what? And then I don't know if he heard like something running away. I don't know. I don't know if that was a part of the story. This all happened a really long time ago, so it's not like very fresh in my mind. But he like, it happened once and he was like, what the fuck? Like, go to bed. And then it happened again and he was like, and then it happened a third time where these toes were under the door. Like just toes. And then he was like, okay, like this is just retarded. So he got up and there was nothing outside of the door. And he was like, so then he went into my cousin's room and he was like, what the fuck? Like, stop. This is annoying. I'm trying to sleep. Stop putting your toes under the door. And then they were like, what are you talking about? Like, just, he sounded so dumb. And then he was like, and then picked up the blanket so it showed Phoebe and Lauren's feet. And their nail polish was pink and purple. Lauren's was purple, Phoebe's was pink. So that doesn't make any fucking sense. And no one else was home, and it was super weird that it was feet. This next part is probably one of the scariest. My cousin and my cousin's boyfriend were sleeping in the rec room or whatever downstairs. They changed that into their bedroom because like they kind of just had the downstairs to themselves, so they were like, whatever. So they were sleeping in there, and I don't know if you guys know, like probably those lamps that you tap on, and there's 3 settings. And in order to get to the second or third setting, you need to tap it that many like times. Like if you want it to get it to the second setting, you tap it twice, third setting, tap it 3 times, and then tap it again and it's off. So there's no like buttons or anything, it's literally you touch it to turn it on. And they were like almost going to sleep, and then all of a sudden the touch lamps turned on the second setting at the same exact time, and you need to touch it twice to get it to that second setting. And they turned on to the second setting at the same time, lit up the room.
They were like,
and then a pen from the window ledge shot across the room and landed on the floor. And it didn't just fall.
Trixie!
It like shot across the room. And they were like, and then Lauren was like, oh my god, like what the fuck? And then Brandon was like, go to bed. But that's just so weird. They were kind of just like, hey, like, this is fucked up and we need to get rid of that Ouija board. So they went and like threw it somewhere, like threw it in a ditch somewhere, because you're not supposed to like burn it or break it or anything. But then my sister thought that the spirit or whatever, the ghost, followed her. The one that had like a connection or whatever with Phoebe thought it followed her to my house, because all of a sudden stuff in my house started getting all weird, and this is where like my paranormal experiences come in. I remember this one time me and my stepsister were home alone, and she was talking about this like lotion or like makeup product or whatever that she had, that she used all the time, that just went missing. Like it just, she couldn't find it. She looked in her bag, she looked all over her room, she looked in her room at her mom's house, she looked everywhere for this, and it wasn't there. And she always had it, which was weird. It just vanished. So we were kind of like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden this huge bang comes from downstairs, and we were upstairs, and it just was so loud, and it sounded like a dresser fell. And we were like, what the fuck? So we went running downstairs, dumb, but we did, and nothing was changed. There was nothing fell, like everything was normal. And my stepsister's lotion or whatever was sitting on the dresser, or it was like right in her bag or something, but it was right there. And she was kind of like, what the fuck? And we were like, weird, like maybe that's just a coincidence, but there's just the thing that gets me was like this loud thing like just happened, and it was like nothing was changed or nothing fell or nothing happened, and it was just this loud ass noise that like shocked the both of us. And then something else that I experienced was me, my sister, and my stepsister were all sleeping in the same room downstairs. They got up earlier than me. They got up, went upstairs. My whole family was upstairs. No one was downstairs. And then I woke up to really loud noises, like drawers were opening and closing. The shower door was opening and closing. The tap was like turning on and off, and like all that weird stuff. Like the door was opening and closing, and like the drawers were just like really loud. It was super loud. So it woke me up, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, who's doing that? So I went and looked in the bathroom, and no one was in there. No one was downstairs. No one had been downstairs. So I went and checked that out, like when I walked out of my bedroom door, or that bedroom door, it stopped. So I looked in, and nothing was there. Nothing was open. Nothing was changed. So then I went back and upstairs, and I was like, I asked my whole family if anyone was down there, if our animal, like if our dog was down there, and they were like, no, like what the fuck? And that was just super, super weird, and that was like the weirdest thing I've ever like really experienced. And then sometimes my dog and my cat that I had would stare at the same spot in the room all at like the same time. Like they'd be staring at the corner, and like you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, what are you staring at? And they would still stare at the corner, and it would just be super weird because they were staring at the same place. And yeah, but my sister experienced more in our house than I did, because she thought that that spirit followed her, because I'm pretty sure they played the Ouija board in our house, and it was the same spirit. But yeah, so that's all my shit and my family's shit that we've experienced. We've moved from those houses, so we don't no longer live in them and stuff. So like we're all good. Nothing ever scary has happened. But the whole time while that was happening was like, I didn't feel like a scared feeling. Like it felt like it was just like harmless, and I was such a bitch. Like that was when I watched like Paranormal Activity 4, and I was so scared. But when stuff like that happened, it wasn't that scary to me. So that is all I have today. I know it wasn't that scary, but it was just something that I wanted to share. So yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for new videos every, I don't know, really like Monday or something. Yeah, bye!